Thomas? Thomas?
Yeah?
Do you want to build a gaming computer?
Yeah?
Thomas?
Yeah?
I just had a thought. We've got to check with Mummy.
Oh.
Did you think it'd be alright?
I'm sure it'll be alright. Like, it's not going to cost that much, is it?
Okay.
That's just going to cost like £100 or something, right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Sweetheart!
Yeah?
Thomas and I are going to build a gaming computer.
Oh, okay.
It'll be great. You'll love it. Oh, it shouldn't be too much.
How exciting. The first unboxing box. Can't wait. Well, the box feels nice. That's always a good start. Oh, this looks well packaged. First impressions are good so far. Oh, I like this. And it's nice and heavy too.
Try all the box there, guys. Lovely. Nice weight.
Is it?
Yeah.
Then put it on the floor there.
Well, it's certainly well packaged, beautifully put together. These initial impressions are good. I can only hope the rest of it goes as well as this. This is an awesome start. Can't wait. Also petrified. Yes, apparently you have to put other things in this box to enable yourself to have a PC.
Oh, this looks nice, mate. What do you think?
It looks good.
It does,
Yeah.
doesn't it? This is part of the radiator fan. Oh, it's magneted.
Looks fancy. Really fancy.
Got some USB ports here.
And the headphone jack.
On-off button. We were both very surprised by the actual build quality of this. really is very, very good. I've actually done an unboxing video about this, so please look that up. We didn't need a huge case, but after some research, this Corsair Carbide Delta seemed to fit the bill perfectly. Both my son and I couldn't wait to get the side panel off, just to have a look inside. Very exciting stuff, this.
Good job, darling.
Thanks.
The tempered glass feels nice and is well finished. Can't say any more than that. And as I lift it up here, it's a decent weight to it too, a lot of weight. As we take a look inside, you can see the 3 fans at the front. Towards us at the rear, we've got one single fan for exhausting, obviously. And you notice that the paint job is absolutely brilliant, really nicely finished. And as we take a look inside, there's some of the cables that are attached. Obviously they need to be managed slightly differently and attached to our motherboard. My initial response when looking at all of this stuff is to think, my goodness me, how on earth am I going to get this to actually work? So steep learning curve needed, but as you'll find out, it's not that bad after all. As you look at the case, most things seem to make sense. So when you look at the components to put inside, for example, that slot there I'm pointing at, that's where the cables go through for the power supply to the other components within inside. Underneath we have an air filter, and it just makes sense. So the more you play with it, the more you look at it, the more things start to fit into place mentally. Although I've been struggling for many years to get things to fit into place mentally, still trying, as you probably found out. So I'll just keep rambling unnecessarily as I'm trying to mentally get things to fit into place. Okay, now I've composed myself and I feel that enough things are mentally in place. Just to make sure things are in place, we've put the side panel back on. I've speeded this up with the help of my son, who does a better job than me, it seems. Even though I was reluctant to look at the instruction manual, believing that I'll be frightened to death looking at all the information, it is really important to have a quick look at these things, just so you can sight proof it. The next stage was to protect the components as they were going in, and what I mean by that is with the anti-static straps and so forth. After doing an element of research, or a little bit more than an element of research, I've found out that the safest way to start building your computer is to reduce anti-static problems, or to wear an anti-static strap, so you don't have any static problems, therefore shorting components out. One of the ways to do that is to attach it to a power support unit. Here is the excellent quality Seasonic GX750 gold rated system. We opted for a fully modular system because it allows you to control the cables and certainly where they go. It comes in beautiful bags too, if you notice. I'm not sure why you need so many bags, however they are really handy. I'm talking about the cloth ones, not the plastic ones. So any spare cables can go in there, at least you can stow it away so it looks nice. Plus, I like the branding, looks awesome. And this is what you get for your money. Just some extra components to go along the way when we're building this thing. We've got a little flash drive for the Windows software. We've got the anti-static straps, very cheap, some Gorilla paste, some extra cable management ties, and some other little bits. We've got some extra screws, you can see there, little tray of them. Didn't need them, but at least we've got options. And obviously if you can manage to undo the plastic like I'm struggling with now, you know you can actually build a computer. As you can see, I'm blatantly putting this theory to the test. Can I undo this wrapping? It appears not, so I'm going to listen to the help of a tool, namely my Victorinox multi-tool, or knife. Can't even say the words properly. but as I go through this, I'm starting to establish that I can in fact solve problems, so therefore building the computer is not as bad as it seems after all. I can do this. Or can I? Let's have a go and success! Wonderful. I don't think it really matters which colour strap you have. There's two different types in here, but they all do the same thing. Clip it on one end, ideally to the power support unit or some sort of earth, and the other bit to your wrist. At this stage it comes across that I actually don't know what on earth I'm doing here, which is probably an element. Well, yeah, okay, so I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm trying to learn as I'm going along. I do know I have to attach these to my wrist, and I have to utilize them somehow to protect the components I'm going to be putting together, therefore not stuffing up the build. Stuffing up the build is also a technical phrase for not getting in trouble with the missus, of which I don't wish to do. Always respect the boss of the house. Yep, as you can probably gather, I actually quite like fiddling with these things. Got crocodile clips at the end there. I know what these things mean. Anyway, I've got to attach it to the power support unit. It's probably a good idea to do this. So I'm actually going to attach the clip to a screw. The power support unit is attached to the power supply, obviously not on. And I'm going to get us both putting these straps on. That's my son's hands there, so we can start to deal with the components. Just going to give him a hand there, show him how professional I am and how awesome his father is at his huge knowledge base. Time for the motherboard, the Aorus Z390 Pro Wi-Fi, and it's made by Gigabyte. This runs up to 9th generation Intel chipsets. We opted for this because we thought the 10th generation stuff had only just come out, or has been out for a few months now, but it was also making the whole build a little cost prohibitive. That's not to say down the line we can actually upgrade the chips and the memory to hopefully future-proof this, but worst comes to the worst, I just put a 10th generation motherboard in. Call me a diehard, but I believe that Intel is the only way forwards. I'm not a convert to AMD, although I know a lot of people love them to bits because they're such good value for money. Well, the price difference is not that different anymore, so I'd rather go with the older, more established company, Intel. And as you can see before your very own eyes, not my eyes, well, I'm looking at this too as I'm editing this. However, if you use your eyes, you can see that you get lots of things inside here, and that includes the instructional booklet. So this is where my scare levels start to increase. My heart rate is starting to jump up and I'm starting to sweat profusely. I try not to panic unnecessarily, but I might have short screams and outbursts of emotional turmoil as we go throughout the build. However, ignore that and just realise that you're dealing with someone who is professional and is not a lunatic, at least not all of the time. I do realise that I'm going to have to refer back to this quite a few points throughout the build, so at this stage, even though I'm just showing you what's contained within the book itself and the case and how things are attached, it's good to just familiarise yourself with every component, at least so when you come back trying to look over it again, you've got a rough idea what you're going to do with it. At this stage, I blatantly don't know what I'm going to do with it, so I need to start learning and I need to start reading and watching and experimenting. It's really not that hard, guys. Oh, nice. You've got a nice textured sticker that can go on your PC build at the end. Actually looks quite nice. Could even use it for my guitar. Okay, now that we've had a quick look inside, to close up the box and use this as a platform with which to put the motherboard on. I had to remember what the component was then, hence the pause. This is the motherboard. It's contained in an anti-static bag, so further protecting it. But both my son and I have our anti-static straps on and we're good to go. And this is the point of unravelling a component out of a bag. So if I can take it out of the bag, I know that I have the capability and the waywardness about my awesomeness and my sheer intellectual knowledge and prowess as an awesome human being to actually build this computer. The fact that I'm taking my time means I'm enjoying the moment and not struggling at all. I will now further demonstrate my technical knowledge and prowess as a human being, and with the use of my hands that are attached to my arms, twist it around so you can have a good look at it. Well made, nice heat shield, lots of slots, and well made. Actually feels really nice. All seriousness, I like it. It feels really good. I know this sounds really basic, but please remember to take all the plastic protective covers off things and make a good job of it, because if you start it up and it overheats or gets hot, it's going to stick and you'll never get it off. It'll just make things sucky. Just looking carefully around it, because it's well hidden. I just don't want to have to go back and have to clear up a huge mess. Time for the brains of the computer. This is the Intel Core i5. It's unlocked. It's the 9600K and can be overclocked to your needs and your expectations of life. After some research, we found out that this particular i5 processor outperformed nearly all of the i7s, even the top of the range one of the 9th gen series, especially for gaming. We were just basically comparing costs with what you're going to get, in other words bang for buck, and this by far gave us the most bang for buck scenario. I'm just showing you here that the processor goes in that slot there, and I'm just verifying I actually know what I'm doing by double checking my knowledge with the actual knowledge of the instructional booklet. I must point out, going back to the bang for buck scenario, that if this didn't perform how I wanted it to, then we were going to jump, or certainly miss out the i7 and go straight for the i9 if we wanted to. But we were just going to try and experiment with the knowledge that we heard from the YouTubers online, and they were all saying that this chip is amazing for gaming. I also did a bit of research looking at the combination of this chip with different types of memory and also the graphics card too. So there was a bit of research that had gone into this before we actually started buying the components. We decided to go for the Corsair Vengeance series. 3200 is the speed rating of this memory, and this is two 8GB modules. I was going to go to 32GB of RAM, but again, after doing a bit of research, huge amounts of RAM doesn't necessarily improve the gaming performance. However, we can easily upgrade it if we need to in the future. Beautifully made as always, so the Corsair stuff comes well packaged, clearly labelled. Excellent. Now for the physical storage side of things, we went for 1TB or 1024GB, as you can see on the label, an Intel solid state drive. 660p series. A lot of good reliability reports about this unit. Not the cheapest of things, but very quick. Again, I flipped through the instructional booklet just trying to familiarise myself with how it's supposed to be attached to the motherboard. This goes into the M.2 slot. When you look at it, it just looks like a RAM module, but I guess it's the same sort of technology, but you can read and write from it. It's amazing how technology's improved over the years. This is very fast, very powerful. There are two slots that it can fit into on this particular motherboard, and I'm going to place it into the one closest to the chip.
Okay, back there, we've got a slightly higher position there. So I think this is going to go in one of these slots here, which pertains to the length, and then the screw I originally took out from down here is going to go in there so I can pinch it in place. So I'm going to undo this one. Just check the length of it so I know which one I'm using. So that'll be going in there like that, so it'll be this one here. I know there's probably a lot of you looking, thinking, goodness me, what is he playing at? Well, we're building a gaming PC. Hi everyone, back again. We ran out of iCloud storage, so pop this in at a 30-degree angle, little wiggle, sticking it in there, it's in nice and firmly. Happy with that. I've taken the sticker off the back of this one. I'm going to stick it in place beautifully. So we'll pop that in like so. Make sure it's safely nestled. Just gently pushing the whole thing down to eventually you can see the screw there. So I'm just going to pop the existing screw back in place. Not too hard, just wiggling it around just gently, so it's just like fingertip tightness. It's quite a few screw turns this. There you go, so just a little bit of a wiggle, so it's all nice and stable in there. Happy with that. All steady. Okay, so that's in place. Now the next thing we're going to do is pop the chip in. This is going to be quite interesting. Now the chip itself has the little label on here somewhere, certainly not that side, with a triangle. Where is it? Come on, John. Let's have a look. There it is. Okay, it's there. Don't you see? That's like a little triangle thing. And we're going to find out where the triangle is on here, because that's when we pull this back, you'll see that that's how we fit it in. I'll just kind of get this anti-static strap on my other wrist, make my life a bit easier. Thomas, do you want to say anything to anyone?
Well, since we put that heatsink on just before,
yeah,
that should prevent the PC burning up, catching fire.
Yes, which is always a good thing. Yes, you're right.
Well, we did not want to spend this amount of money we spent buying all these parts for nothing, really. So hopefully this should prevent our PC burning.
Yeah, sure.
Yay.
Okay, right. Let's try and get this thing out. There you go. So releasing the place where the chip goes. Just lift this up. Oh, there we go. Being careful not to touch anything we shouldn't do. And must keep these completely clear. And there's the triangle there. I don't know if you can see it. Got to match the triangle which is there. So the orientation is this way for the chip. Now when you're holding the chip, make sure you try and lift it from the sides only. Very important that. So I'm just going to hold it here. I'm just going to drop it in place, making sure it's all lined up like that, and that seems to be in place beautifully. Can't go anywhere. I'm not going to touch the top. It looks like it's well seated, triangle with triangle, and when we push this back down, this is going to pop in the air. Whoop. So we're just going to get it down there like that, and this is going to pop off. There you go. And it's important you keep hold of this, because apparently a lot of motherboard manufacturers won't take your motherboard back if there's an issue with it unless you've got this back in place when you put it back on. So make sure you put that back in the box. Okay. Now I'm going to go and grab the memory, so I'm going to come back in a minute.
And now comes the exciting point where we put the memory in.
Okay, back, grabbed hold of the memory, so I'm just going to make sure I'm still at anti-statics anyway, because I'm still touching the same bench, but it's just to make sure. Okay, so going around here to the memory. Now we've got 4 memory slots, but this supports dual channel memory. Are you able to zoom into this bit there, Thomas? Just that bit? Perfect. Don't know if you can see that there, but it's got different memory banks. We've got A1, A2, B2, B1. Now it's a dual channel. In other words, we've got just two. Well, it's got 4 slots, but we've got 2 memory sticks. But because it's dual channel, we got to use the appropriate channels. So in this case, we're going to be using A1 and what was the other one?
B1.
B1, yeah. So just going to do that. Thanks, mate. There we go. Bit exciting, all this. Okay, so A1, which is that one. Did you put your anti-static strap on, darling?
Do you want me to put it on now?
Oh, you don't have to, it's fine. It's just I didn't know if you want to push these bits.
It's
There we
fine,
go.
you can do it.
Yeah, thanks. So Daddy gets the damage.
I'm younger, so I need to survive longer.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm too young to die, thank you.
Thanks, mate. Okay, have I done that right, mate? Is that A1? And that's
Yep,
B1,
definitely is. I can see A1 and B1.
perfect. Okay, so there's our beautiful RAM sticks. Oh, very nice.
Don't touch the gold bits.
Don't touch the gold bits.
I beg of you, please don't.
Okay, so let's do these. Let's make sure these work fine. So it's not that way. So let's do it this way.
Still not touching the gold bits.
Still not touching the gold bits. Okay, mate. So is that lining up? You've got a better view than me.
Yeah, now it is.
Now it is. Okay.
Now all we have to do is push it down ever so gently
Okay.
into. I think there should be a click, perhaps.
Yeah.
More.
Oh yeah.
That's what you want to hear.
Good one.
And then once it's pushed down,
Yeah.
this side here will push back in and so will that side. So
Excellent.
that's how you will know it's definitely in.
Brilliant.
And you can test it by trying to pull on it very gently, and it should not come out.
Do we use a chain for that, mate, or what do you reckon?
No, I think our hands will be just fine.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So now, just to recap what we've done, we've put the CPU in, we've put the SSD in, and we've put the RAM in. How unbelievably exciting is this? Okay, just on second thoughts, I thought it was a little bit wobbly, so I did a bit looking around on the internet, and there was a little flat screw, like this one, another flat one, somewhere here. So I should have really screwed in place on this thing. I know this is not good practice, but I'm faced with only this scenario. So that's going to go there, like that. Screw it in place. I thought it felt weird. Okay. There you go, that's better. And pop this one back in place where it should have been. Just like that. Now I feel happier because it was a little bit wobbly. It was in place, but it was just a slight little bit of give, which made me feel a bit uncomfortable about it. But it's in place now.
If you were doing this with your one, make sure you put the screw in first. Like, don't ideally take it off again.
That's right. Well done. Perfect.